Am I the asshole here for throwing my brother's prison trauma in his face to prove a point? My brother has always been an angry, hot-headed thug. Since he was a small kid, he showed violent behavior, idolized gangs, and would just generally be a prick to everyone. He's the kind of guy that goes on about respecting him and tries to intimidate everyone just because he can. When he was a teenager, it escalated dramatically, and our parents tried whatever they could to fix it. He started using drugs when he was 16. By the time he was 19, he went to prison for 2 years. Prison changed him. After he got out, he was not the same guy. He flinched when you touched him, slept with the lights on, and added an extra lock to the door of his room when he stayed with my parents. He was broken. He eventually had a full-blown mental breakdown where he started talking about what happened. It was about as bad as you expected. His combative nature isolated him day one and made him a target for all kinds of abuse his entire sentence. He's been in therapy for years. He's 32 now. He went back to school, met a nice woman, and is actually turning his life around. Our relationship isn't perfect, and it will never be fully healed, but he's trying to actually be a human being. The problem has been the last couple months. You can see it on his face. The way he acts. He's slowly going back to his old ways. He acts aggressive around mom and dad. When he's out, he tries to pick fights again. The people he hangs around with are known violent felons and suspected dealers. He had a girlfriend for about a year, but she left him because he started frequently screaming, throwing things around their apartment, and threatening to hurt her. It's obvious he's on drugs again. He's slowly unraveling and throwing away years of progress. Our parents tried talking to him, offered rehab, offered for him to stay with them for some time. He flipped out at our parents, and after years of his crap, they simply walked away and blocked him for the time being. They spent years and countless dollars before and after his sentence to try and help him. They were done. I tried talking to him. His place was a mess, and he had empty alcohol bottles and pill containers scattered around his place. He got hostile very quickly when I pointed out the obvious and threatened me. I snapped and brought up what he told us about his prison time and told him it would all be waiting for him again if he doesn't fix his shit, and that this time his family won't be waiting to help clean up his mess. It shut him down super quickly, and he just curled up on the couch and weakly told me to leave. I felt terrible since I brought it up, but he is gladly throwing away years of progress for the same crap that got him in trouble in the first place. He knows what prison is like, and he's doing everything he can to go back there. He's spitting in the face of everyone who went to bat for him, chasing the same highs that almost destroyed his life. Relevant comments. Jakanobi. NTA. Sometimes you just can't help the drowning man who's slapping you away from saving him. Even if they're family, they're not worth it. Despite the emotional connection, there are thousands of people who are in your brother's position, and they're actively trying their darndest to stay on course for their family, friends, and themselves. Unpracticed vegan. NTA. Somewhere along the lines, he fell back in with bad people who had him relapse, and somehow he compartmentalized his past prison trauma, probably to justify his relapse and tell himself, it's okay. You are giving him a loud reminder to wake up if he doesn't want to go through all that again. It may be tough. He may think you're the but he probably 100% needed to hear it. I hope he reaches out to you, since you seem to still be open to contact, and asks for help so he can get better again. Up to team. Update. Last night my brother got high and trashed his apartment. He punched holes in the walls, destroyed furniture, and busted windows. Utterly destroyed his place. He tried kicking a neighbor's door in and throwing rocks through their window when they yelled they were calling the police and threatened to kill them. Police came. He tried fighting them and got his ass beat badly. They took him to the hospital. He calmed down for enough time to call me to the hospital. It was unintelligible, but I got the gist of it, and yes, I shouldn't have gone to see him, but by the time I got there, he had lost his shit again and was in 4-point restraints. He was screaming and practically feral. I couldn't even get any words in before I decided to leave. From what I can gather from the cops there I talked to, they found a ton of drugs. He assaulted a police officer, destroyed his apartment and damaged a neighbor's front door and window, threatened to kill the neighbor, tried to escape arrest, punched a nurse, bit a tech, and to top it off, he was already in trouble for sending death threats to his ex. So yeah, he's going back to prison for a much longer time. I'm done with him. Our parents are done. Everyone is done with him. And frankly, I'm very okay with that since I finally am free of the stress he brings. He didn't learn a damn thing. Edit. The post is gaining some traction that the original didn't, and some people are confused as to the context. This is an update. Check my profile for the original post. Relevant comments. Water Equation 52. With everything he's done, cutting him off might be the best thing for everyone involved. Lucky_personality_26. Congrats on your parents being done with him. My husband has a brother who has done that kind of shit his whole life, in and out of prison, and almost certainly murdered their beloved uncle. Their parents worship the ground he walks on. Lifelong, eternal golden child. He is the preferred invite to holiday events over my successful engineer husband and our family of 6. The evil one is older now and out of prison, currently living in the aging parents' home and running the show. Trick-a-psych. My mom went to prison for 4 years when I was 5. Grandma adopted me because my dad was not fit. I was never mad. Always made my whole schedule around going to see her on visit days. Answering every single phone call. She got out, got back with my dad. 45 days later, she had to finish her sentence. She got 10 years total, but only had to serve 4. I will never forget jumping on my trampoline, being handed the phone and hearing her tell me she got drunk and high. I stopped jumping and told her I am done. I grew up that day. So know your NTA. Some people never learn a thing, and they expect sympathy for having a pattern of horrible decisions. Final update. It may have not been the best idea, but I decided to have one final talk with my brother the other day before I made my decision to cut him off. After his episode at the hospital, he has been locked up for the time being. No one has even attempted to bail him out. I have no idea about how charges or a trial are going, but it will take a while. As far as I can tell, there is some matter of determining a possible psych hold, but there's a lot of gray area with that, and I frankly don't have much of an idea how that works, and won't get myself more involved to find out. We only got the chance to talk for a few minutes. I didn't visit. He called me over the phone. I straight up asked him what was going on. Why did he do this? What caused his slip the last few weeks? And the thing was, I was expecting some emotional response, a plea for help, maybe even some reasoning. But that didn't happen. Instead, he asked, "Why not?" I asked what he meant by that. He just kind of smugly laughed a little. He started rambling about how the bitch, his ex, should watch out for him when he gets out. I quickly reminded him that these calls are monitored, and he needs to watch his fucking mouth. He told me to go fuck myself, and he only called to see if I would post his bail. I was practically pleading, asking him why he was doing this. He got agitated, said he doesn't fucking care, started screaming how he doesn't need us, and you could hear him get into a scuffle with what I'm assuming was an officer watching him before the call got cut. I was practically speechless. He doesn't care. He maybe never did. Some people in the comments and DMs were making assumptions about myself and my parents, how we handled his behavior and mental health care. Ever since he was a kid, my parents spent every spare dime and minute of their lives trying to help him. Pediatric mental health care, therapy, group activities, extracurriculars, anything to try and steer him on the right path. They put me on the back burner for years because of him. Our relationship almost got tanked because they wanted to help him so much. When he got out of prison and had his breakdown, it was practically a clean slate for him. He never apologized for what he did. He didn't have to own up to his family for what he put us through. We all just try to help. And he took this second chance people would crawl over broken glass for and threw it in our faces. Well, good for him. He gets what he wants. To be utterly alone in prison. I'm no fool. He likes to push us far and try and reel us back in. But after this, I am truly and utterly done. Our parents are in the process of removing him completely from their lives. They are livid. He's spending a much longer time in prison, and if he ever gets out and looks for someone to help him pick up the pieces of his life, he's going to be sorely disappointed. We tried to help. He didn't want it. I'll answer some questions if anyone had any for a few days before torching the account. Relevant comments. Black Moonbird. To be honest, I feel it would be wise to be sure that if he gets out, there is no one for him to come crawling to. I don't necessarily mean move, though that might be smart if it's possible to accomplish, especially for the ex who was literally threatened in your conversation. But I think you and your parents and everyone need to make your worlds as though he no longer exists. He gets out. Family? He has none. These people don't know him. Friends? I'd be shocked if he had any when he landed his punk-ass bitch but back in prison, so that might not be an issue. But it's time to burn the final bridge. Torch it down. Ashes to ashes. OP. Cassowary 32. I hope his ex takes steps to relocate in case your brother tried to recruit his friends to hurt her. I also hope he stays in jail for a long time. Oop. I'm aware of a couple sketchy guys he was hanging out with, and it seems they've all disappeared. I'm guessing he's trying to throw people under the bus. He's probably thinking he's dropping valuable names. But in reality, they're all just losers. Samarkand 457. Your brother is going into the hole so fast that his passage from the prison gates to solitary will be visibly red-shifted. Horizontal on the throne. I doubt he ever gets out. There's undiagnosed mental illness at play here, and the system doesn't spend a lot of time trying to help people like your brother. I suspect he'll do something in prison this time to make it so he never gets out. Or he'll mouth off to the wrong person and, well, you get the idea. There's nothing more you or your family could have done. He had his one do-over. His demons got the better of him. I don't think you'll ever hear from him again unless it's for money to buy food in jail. Verkuin. Please tell his ex to stay safe. She needs to know he threatened her and should be made aware when he gets out, so she can take her precautions. Do the same for yourself and your parents, which seems to be on good tracks. Your brother fell into a big hole and is still digging. I hope for him he'll reach rock bottom and understand it would be better to get out of here. But I won't hold too much on that.
Moving to the next story. My 20F boyfriend, 22M, said, if you can't handle period cramps, how do you want me to build a family with you? I don't know what to think. I need outside opinions, please. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a year. Last week, I had slept over at his place. I was semi-awake when I felt him going on top of me. When I eventually opened my eyes, he just screamed, "Good morning," and went inside of me. I immediately froze. I then started crying and he immediately stopped and asked me what was wrong. I wasn't able to tell him. I couldn't stop crying, and at this point he was crying too and apologizing profusely. I called an Uber, then left. He kept texting/calling me to apologize. I texted him back the next day saying that I accept his apology and I'm sorry too for ruining the moment. I do want to forgive him, but a little part of me feels violated. I know he would never maliciously rape me, but he knows I've been sexually assaulted before, so why would he think this was a good idea? I want to move on, but there's this little part of me who wonders if he did all of that on purpose. I love him so much, I don't know what to do. Am I overthinking or overreacting? Relevant comments. Commenter, I know he would never maliciously rape me. So, how do you describe what he did there? He penetrated you without consent, without asking for consent, and seemed to time it completely intentionally. That is rape. It wasn't by accident, it was on purpose. OOP. It took me a little while to react, and when I started crying he immediately stopped. That's why I don't think it was malicious. But then why do this in the first place? I'm so lost what to do. Commenter, unless this was part of an ongoing game/fantasy you both discussed and engaged in the past, which doesn't sound like it based on your story, this was at best a shitty and selfish move, and in many places would be considered assault. What worries me more is that you let your love for him blind you so much you felt the need to immediately accept his apology and even say you're sorry for ruining the moment. This is not a healthy dynamic in a relationship. You're very young, and the fact you have feelings for him shouldn't make you forget your basic human rights. You are not overreacting. Tell him you are not accepting his apology, and not sorry for reacting as you did. As for what's next, that's up to you, but please do not compromise. At the very minimum, he should be honest about why he did it in the first place, and why he let his lust overcome what he knew about your history. Don't let him make vague excuses, and if he tries to push back any blame on you, you know he's not the one. OOP. He has told me before that he wants me to wake him up with sex, and I've done it before, but I always said that I don't want him to do it to me because of my sexual trauma. However, one time we were about to have sex when I randomly got hit with this wave of fatigue. I didn't want to ruin the moment, so I let him have sex with me while I was sleeping. This was the only time I consented to such an act, and it might have given him the impression that I was okay with that. He's very impulsive and I don't think he did it maliciously, but then I don't know. As soon as I started crying, he stopped and he apologized 1,000 times. I'm just really lost. Commenter, no. This is rape. Holy shit. You seriously need to break up. Hell no. The other thing you wrote that he continued while you fell asleep once, no. That's not right. He shouldn't get hard from your unresponsive body. He should make you feel safe. You're young, seriously I don't know what to say. I never wrote something like, dump him, ever. I always try to understand the other side or figure it out. But this is very extreme. Please leave. It is sexual assault. I don't know if you should go to the police or not, that's for you to decide. Oh OP, I feel like when you put it that way it's different. He didn't get hard from my unresponsive body, we were about to do it, so he was already hard, then I got sleepy and I told him he could continue. He asked me like 5 times if it was fine and I said yes. But I get your point and he'll think about it. He genuinely looks remorseful, but then I don't know. Thank you for your input. Commenter, downvoted okay. I'd be completely honest, even if the majority doesn't agree. I think that, in fact, yeah, it was abuse because you did not consent. However, I really think it wasn't his intention to rape you. Yeah, it was wrong, and yeah, it was stupid as hell considering you had been sexually assaulted before, but I don't see a selfish rapist evil guy when he immediately stopped at the moment you started crying. I don't see it either in the way he was so worried that ended crying with you and texted and called several times the moment you left. Be completely honest with yourself and how you feel about it, and obviously, talk with your partner about this and establish clear boundaries if you want to continue with this relationship. Remember that even with all the details, nobody but you knows more about this guy than yourself, so keep your mind clear, think about it, and make a decision. My best wishes, hope you're better now. I've had an experience with sexual assault, so I know this is clearly a severe topic and trauma, sad face. Oh OP, that's why I'm so lost. He was crying so hard he was shaking and he looked genuinely remorseful. He's one of those people that doesn't think before saying/doing something, so I think he was just trying to be funny ick. But he knows about my past trauma regarding sex and he knows that I don't want him to wake me up like this. Ick if he just forgot, but again I don't know what to think. Update. Hello, my boyfriend and I have not been talking for the past few days because of this incident. Basically, I got my period in the middle of the night, and I woke up to my legs being completely drenched in blood. I teared up a little bit because I hate being on my period, so I was really sad about that. I also ruined my boyfriend's sheets, so I was embarrassed too. I couldn't open my legs because I knew I would just bleed more, so I gently woke him up to carry me to the bathroom. He was kind of annoyed about being woken up, understandably, but I really needed to use the bathroom, and I couldn't walk because I was in pain. I was crying a little bit while he was carrying me, most likely due to the hormones because I'm not usually that sensitive, and when he put me down, I realized that I wouldn't be able to take the extra few steps to sit down on the toilet. I also knew that as soon as I opened my legs, blood would just come out. So I then asked him to give me his hand to help me get into the bathtub instead. He was annoyed and said, "Can't you do it yourself?" I said, "No, my stomach hurts." He then helped me, and I was crying because I knew I was just annoying him. When I eventually came out of the bathroom, he said, "You just ruined all my fucking sheets." I said I was sorry. He then sighed obnoxiously loud to show his annoyance. I said I was sorry. Can you drop it? You act like you're the one cramping for a week. He then said, "Shut the fuck up. My sisters get their period too, and they're not bitches about it." I said, "What did you just say?" And he laughed and went to the kitchen. I followed him and grabbed his arm to make him look at me, and he kind of raised his voice and said, "Bro, leave me alone. You just ruined my fucking day with your bullshit." I said, "Sorry, I have my period," and he was like, "You're acting like you're giving birth. Relax." He then followed with, "How do you want us to build a family if you cry at every fucking inconvenience?" I was crying and said, "WTF does that even have to do with this?" And he said, "See. If you can't handle period cramps, how do you want me to build a family with you?" At that moment, I thought it was his way of breaking up with me, and I said, "Are you trying to break up with me right now?" And he said, "You know you can be so stupid sometimes." I said, "What's that supposed to mean?" And he said, "I'm not talking about this anymore, go get some rest." I tried to talk about it, but he just gave me the silent treatment. Am I wrong in how I handled this? I guess I shouldn't have woken him up, but I had to go to the bathroom and I couldn't walk. Is there something I can do to fix this? Relevant comments. Commenter, I'm going to withhold judgment, but have you seen your OBGYN about this? Periods should not be akin to a disability where you need to be carried to the bathroom and helped into the bathtub. I'm not saying you're lying about being in severe enough pain where those things become necessary. But the fact that you're 1. Bleeding so severely as to soil the entire bed as soon as your period arrives, and 2. Are in too much pain to move yourself around sounds like an underlying medical issue like endometriosis. Oh, okay, no I didn't. But also it was really late, so I was super tired. If it had happened in the middle of the day I would have been able to go alone, just taking more time, but I really had to go to the bathroom. And for the soiling, okay, I don't think I actually soiled the entire bed, but there was a very big puddle of blood and all of my inner thighs were completely soaked. But thank you so much for your input. I just never really thought about seeing someone about this. A lot of my friends have heavy periods/bad cramps, so I thought it was normal. Commenter, are you sure you didn't have a spontaneous abortion? What type of birth control are you using? Your symptoms are worrisome. Aside from that, your boyfriend is not husband nor father material. Oh, OP, no I don't think I did, and I don't use birth control. Commenter, okay, wait a minute. You were unable to walk to the bathroom, unable to step into the tub, but then when he said something ugly to you, you followed him to the kitchen. Miraculous recovery in my opinion. Oh OP, if this had happened during the day, I would have been able to go by myself, it would have just taken more time. I just needed more help because I had zero energy this late at night, plus I really needed to use the bathroom. I couldn't walk because of the pain and because I had a lot of blood between my legs. I knew he would have reacted way worse if I had ruined a towel too. I told him to put me down at the entrance of the bathroom, and only then did I realize that I wouldn't be able to walk the extra steps without making a mess. Commenter, how long are you guys together? Has anything like this never happened to you before? Surely he'd know if this was normal for you. If this is your normal period, get to your doctor. It shouldn't be so debilitating, and if this is not your normal period, definitely go to your doctor. Is it possible you were having a miscarriage? There are reasons these things can happen, but you'd need to see someone. At first I thought you were being a bit OTT, needing to be carried etc., and then how you went about confronting him, but reading on I see what he's done in the past. You need medical help for your extreme bleeding and pain, and you need to get this person out of your life. Please do both. XX. Oh OP, we've been together for a year. I've always had heavy and painful periods, and usually, during the first few days of my period, I tell him that I can't hang out because I'm in too much pain. I never really thought about going to the doctor because I have a lot of friends who also have painful and heavy periods, so I didn't think anything was wrong. Also, I don't have the greatest pain tolerance, so I thought it was just me. I don't think I was having a miscarriage. Commenter, is this the same guy that raped you? Girl, run. Oh, downvoted. It was a misunderstanding. Commenter, what's there to misunderstand? You yourself said that you told him to not wake you up with sex due to trauma and he did it anyway. You explicitly did not give him consent and he did it anyway. Sex Ed 101 tells us that's rape. You're a victim. Oh okay, downvoted, yes, but I said it a long time ago. It's not like we talk about this every day. It's hard to explain, but he forgot in the moment. Anyways, I don't like thinking about that. Commenter, as someone who's dated shitheads like this, there was no misunderstanding. He didn't forget. He views you as his personal pleasure toy, and anything that reminds him that you are a human being will cause him to abuse you in some form or fashion. Hopefully you'll recognize this and not end up in a situation like I did, nearly being run over, before you decide to at least leave, if not call the cops on his sorry ass. You're still so young, you have plenty of time to find someone who will treat you with respect and kindness. But this jerk-off you're with ain't it. Oh okay, no, he forgets everything, like he has to use alarms at all times to not forget things. So, OFC, he's not gonna remember a conversation we had months ago. He's also very impulsive, and he thought that it would be funny at the moment because, at the time, we had been waking each other up with pranks. When he did it, I immediately froze, so he had no way of knowing if I was okay with it or not. Also, when I started crying, he immediately stopped and asked me if I was okay. He felt so bad he was crying/shaking, and he apologized like 1,000 times. We stopped having sex for a little while after that, and he never pressured me into doing it again until I was comfortable enough to do it again. But I am taking into consideration what you said, and I'm sorry for what happened to you. Update. Hello. I made a post about a week ago regarding a situation with my boyfriend. I talked to him yesterday morning, and I wanted to give an update because I saw some comments asking for one. We did not talk after our fight. I wanted to fix it and move on, but I was really hurt by the way he spoke to me and wanted him to apologize first. He didn't. I suspected he wouldn't because he always waits for me to apologize first, so I ended up texting him. My message didn't go through because he had blocked my number. I tried to text him on Instagram and discovered I was blocked there too. I then messaged him on Snapchat. He never uses it, so I think he just forgot to block me there. I told him I was sorry, but I wasn't LOL, and that I just wanted to talk in person. He ended up coming over, and as soon as he came in, he acted like nothing happened, which just pissed me off. By the way, I saw a lot of comments saying things like, "How did you not know you were going to be on your period? You're old enough to know better," etc. I was 5 days late, so I didn't really know when it would come. I know I should have been more prepared, but I had no idea it would happen or that he would react like that. Anyway, I told him I wanted to talk about what happened because his words still hurt me. I apologized for waking him up, acknowledging his frustration was understandable, and explained I was too weak at the moment to go to the bathroom by myself. He responded, "You acted like you were disabled. If I hadn't been there, what would you have done?" I said I would have probably pissed my pants or gone alone and spread blood all over the room. I knew he would already be mad because I stained his bed, so I didn't want to make it worse by staining a towel too. I said I didn't like the way he was cursing at me and calling me names, and he replied, "Well, let someone else ruin your day with dumb shit and see how you react." I told him I didn't think it was dumb shit, I was in so much pain, and he didn't show any sympathy. He just looked at me like I said the dumbest thing in the world. I also told him that I scheduled an appointment with an OBGYN because what I experienced wasn't normal. He said, "Well, I just hope next time you won't piss me off." I asked, "Why are you so mean?" and he didn't answer. He just went on his phone. I got mad and took his phone. Wrong move, I know, because he always dismisses me in the most disrespectful way to make me feel dumb. I took his phone to make him pay attention to me, and he tried to take it back a few times. I said I wanted to finish the conversation, and he just got even angrier. He ended up grabbing my wrist and twisting it to make me drop it. I obviously started crying, and he was like, "What the fuck are you crying about? You did this to yourself." Through tears, I said I just wanted to talk to him. He mocked me, and at this point, I was so hurt I just told him to leave. He left, and in the heat of the moment, I texted him saying it was over. I started thinking about all the messed up things he did or said to me and how he literally assaulted me. A couple of hours later, his sister, my very good friend, sent me a huge text asking if I was okay. She said her brother told her I went crazy, and that he was worried for me but that I just broke up with him out of nowhere. I haven't responded yet because I'm too ashamed to reveal what happened. I don't know what to do. She said he just wants everything to go back to normal and that he misses our trio, me, him, and his sister. I've been thinking about the whole situation since yesterday, and yes, I miss him more than I've ever missed anyone in my entire life. But I hate the way he speaks to me. I feel like if he changes that one thing, we could be perfect. I don't really know what to do. His sister says he's been heartbroken about this, and I believe her, she's never lied to me. I need opinions. What would you do? Thank you. Relevant comments. Commenter, when a man shows you who he is, believe him. Him verbally berating you about your menstrual cycle is mental abuse. Him twisting your arm is physical assault. He is an abusive partner. Be strong in your conviction to break up with him and stay far, far away. Downvoted, but the thing is he wasn't always like this. Like I remember when I was struggling with depression I became very irritable, but it's just because I was going through something. I don't feel like that's who he is. I just want to understand why. Commenter, stay broken up. There's no reason for a relationship to be this hard. Downvoted, no, but if you're going to stay with someone for your entire life, isn't it normal to go through difficult moments together? Commenter, I'd like you to ignore all the comments and read your post from 38 days ago, where he sexually assaulted you while you were just waking up. Then your first post about how angry he got and the words he used when you got blood on the bed. Then, your update where he put hands on you. What advice would you objectively give another woman asking for your advice? You need to get rid of this guy. At the least he's an abuser and a rapist. This will progress to more violence. Get out, as fast as you can. Please. I want to believe you, I really do, but why I have this voice in my head telling me that he's just going through something and he's taking out on me. It's not right, but I have done it before when I was going through things and in reality I just wanted people to help me, and I want to be that person for him. But then what you're saying makes sense too. I'm just very lost. Final update. Hi everyone, this is most likely the final update I will post about this situation. I had my appointment with the gynecologist, and turns out I had a miscarriage. I initially thought it was just a really bad period since mine are usually heavy, but I was wrong. I've never been more heartbroken in my entire life. I can't believe I was pregnant and now it's gone. I tried to read every comment, and they all essentially said the same thing. I tried really hard to believe that he is the abuser everyone says he is, but I simply couldn't. He had never grabbed me like that before, and yes, it hurt, but at the time, I didn't think it was enough to officially break up. Stupid, I know. I thought, well, it's not like he hit me. But I was still very hurt by what he did and said, so I didn't try to contact him. He called me the day after the incident to apologize. He said he regretted what he did and promised to do better. I thanked him, and he asked to hang out, but I declined. He was understanding and asked me to stay on the phone just to talk. I still missed him, so I said yes. I also told him about the miscarriage, and he apologized profusely for his reaction. He genuinely looked sorry. He said that if he had known, he would have reacted differently and that his attitude was mainly because he was tired. We both cried, and it was a beautiful conversation overall. The next day, Sunday, he came over with a bunch of gifts and a handwritten letter. He apologized again for what he did and promised he would never treat me like that again. He said he underestimated his strength, didn't use his full force, and simply wanted his phone back. He said he was working on his anger and impulsiveness. We spent the next few days glued together and they were amazing. He was so cute, he kept referring to me as his wife. Everything was okay until last night. It was my friend's birthday, and we had planned to go together. My boyfriend and I went to different schools, so he didn't really know anyone and stayed with his friends most of the time. Most of the people there were from my high school, and I hadn't seen them in a long time, so I was talking to everyone. I forgot to mention, but his sister was there too, and we chatted. We were all drunk, and she jokingly asked what happened with her brother and why I went crazy on him. I responded laughing that he's the one who went crazy on me and attacked me. She asked what happened, and I explained that we were arguing. I took his phone, and he grabbed my arm and twisted it to make me drop it. She laughed and said he used to do that to her all the time growing up. I didn't say it in a serious tone at all, like I was laughing as I was saying it. Everything was fine that night, and we went to his place together as usual, but the next morning, so today, he asked me if I told his sister anything. I knew I fucked up, so I acted like I didn't remember the conversation and said no. He knew I was lying, which just angered him. He accused me of spreading lies about him to everyone for attention and said that he doesn't even know my friends, and that's the first impression they have of him now. I felt really bad and tried to explain that I wasn't thinking because I was drunk, and it's not like I said he punched me in the face. I tried to say that they didn't even hear me and that I was just talking to my friend. I also said that I was laughing as I was telling the story. He kept cutting me off and getting angrier. He was like, "Your voice is so fucking loud, you really think no one heard you? Are you that fucking stupid? Now everyone thinks I beat girls. Are you happy? Did you get the attention you wanted?" I just kept apologizing because I understood where he was coming from. I tried to hug him a couple of times, and he would just push me away. He kept calling me an attention seeker and a crybaby. I was sobbing because we were doing so good and I just had to ruin everything. When I tried to hug him for the last time, he slapped me in the face. I had never been hit in the face in my entire life, let alone by a man. We were both shocked for a moment, and then he started crying/apologizing. I had never seen him cry like that. I said I was okay and that I just wanted to leave. He tried to offer me a ride, but I said no and went home by myself. I ended up going home, read some comments, turned off my phone, and just cried the whole day. I don't know why it took me all of this to realize he doesn't love me. If I'm being completely honest, I still cannot see him as this evil abuser. I know he is one objectively, but I simply can't see him as one. I don't know why. I did block him, and I'm trying to keep my distance because I'm scared of what he could do next. I'm pretty sure he knows it's over now. I'm not sure, but I think he knows. I don't want to tell his sister what happened. They're literally twins, so I just feel like she would take his side. We're really close, so I'm not 100% sure she would, but then I didn't know my ex would slap me, so I don't want to test my luck. He also has another sister, but I don't really know her/talk to her, and I just want to be alone for now. And no, I'm not going to the police. I don't understand how someone can look up wedding rings with you one day then literally hit you, in the face, the next day. I was literally pregnant with his child, and that's how he treated me. And he had the nerve to hit me knowing I lost our baby. I will never understand. I know everyone is gonna call me stupid for going back to him one more time, and I get it, I know I am. It just sucks that I have to deal with the pain of losing a baby and now losing my boyfriend. Thank you everyone for the messages and comments. You all helped me a lot. I'm probably missing a lot of details, let me know if you have any questions. Relevant comments. Commenter, part of a longer comment. You want to know how you keep people from thinking you hit girls. By not hitting girls. It's okay to miss him, and you will for a while. But you will get over him. Use this experience so that you can see red flags earlier in the relationship. Oh, wow, thank you for this. Commenter, you sound so naive, girl. That's how they suck you in. Let us know when the next he decides he doesn't like what you do. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. It's only getting worse. Run. Oh, I know I am, that's why I want to stay single for now. Commenter, you are not stupid. You were in love and manipulated. Don't call yourself stupid. Oh, I mean everyone saw it coming but me, so I think I'm a little stupid, but it's okay now, I know at least. Commenter, I am worried for you. You make a statement that he knowingly hit you. Do you feel you deserve it? No one deserves to be hit. You did nothing wrong. Except a lie to him about telling the truth. Did you lie because in the back of your mind, you were scared he might hurt you physically? Please go talk to a therapist, as you have a lot of stuff happen to you in a very short time period. Oh, I don't think I deserved it, but then I understand how being in the heat of the moment makes you say/do things impulsively. I can see the situation objectively and say I didn't deserve it, but then I have this stupid voice in my head telling me he just wasn't thinking. And yes, I lied because I knew he would just get more mad, and it obviously didn't work. I'm going to seek therapy one day, but I just need to process what happened. A commenter's response: process this in therapy. He hit you because he wanted to. He doesn't hit his boss when he's angry. He hit his sister and he hit you. He was totally thinking. You really need therapy to see this. Commenter, how did your gynecologist determine that you miscarried? Blood draw. Tissue sample. Ultrasound. How late were you? If I recall, you were a week late. Oh, I did a pelvic exam, an ultrasound, and blood tests. And I was 5 or 6 days late, I think. Commenter, now will you break up with him? Oh, yes. Commenter, I'm sure his sister is great, but she will continue to try to fight and say her brother is a good person. Don't speak to any of them. Cut them all off. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Editor's note: OOP indicated in her last post that she would not be posting again. As she has said, she is officially broken up.